各位记者朋友，大家下午好。
Good afternoon. Welcome to the press conference. First, an announcement. At the invitation of Philippine Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Manalo State Counselor and Foreign Minister Qin Gang will visit the Philippines from April 21st to 23rd. Now questions, please.
韩联社记者提问：韩国政府就昨天中国外
Yonhap, South Korea, in response to your remarks about Yoon So-yeol's remarks yesterday, said this is a diplomatic discourtesy and also summoned the Chinese ambassador. Do you have any comment?
Regarding the ROK side's wrong remarks on the Taiwan question, China has made serious statements to the ROK side on Beijing and Seoul respectively. We fully outlined China's position, stressed that the One China principle is the political foundation of China-ROK relations, and urged the ROK to act according to the spirit of the China-ROK joint communique on the establishment of diplomatic relations, and be prudent about its words and actions. With regard to the Taiwan question, it is legitimate and justified for China to safeguard its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Our commitment to that is unwavering. We hope the ROK will abide by the One China principle and work with China through concrete actions to maintain the sound and steady growth of bilateral relations. Next question, please.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者提问：您能否进一步介绍秦刚国务委员兼外交？
Could you share more about State Counselor Qin Gang's upcoming visit to the Philippines and the Chinese side's expectations for the trip? This will be State Counselor and Foreign Minister Qin Gang's first visit to the Philippines. During the visit, he will pay a courtesy call on President Marcos Jr. and other Philippine leaders and political figures and hold talks with Secretary of Foreign Affairs. We hope this visit will serve as an opportunity for the two sides to increase communication, enhance mutual trust, properly handle differences, deepen cooperation, jointly act on the important common understandings reached by the two presidents during the visit to China by President Marcos Jr., and keep up the momentum of sound and steady development of bilateral ties. Next question, please.
发言人好，塔斯社记者提问：美国财政部长耶伦
TASS, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said yesterday that China's no-limits partnership and support for Russia is an indication that China is not serious about ending the war in Ukraine. Do you have any comment?
中俄双方始终
China and Russia follow the principle of no alliance, no confrontation, and no targeting of any third party, and are committed to developing a new type of major country relations featuring mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation. This is different from the U.S. practice of forming exclusive blocs and stoking bloc confrontation. No country has the right to interfere. On the Ukraine issue, China holds an objective and just position, actively promotes talks for peace, and plays a constructive role in facilitating a political settlement. This stands in sharp contrast to certain countries' double standard and moves to add fuel to the fire. We call on the U.S. to adopt a responsible attitude, stop all actions that might escalate the situation, and work with the rest of the world to facilitate a political settlement.
下一个问题。
Next question, please.
Question from Bloomberg. U.S. President Biden is said to sign an executive order in the coming weeks that will limit investment in key parts of the Chinese economy by U.S. businesses. These areas include semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. Does the Foreign Ministry have a comment on the expected executive order to limit or curb U.S. investment into China? Thank you.
拜登总统预计在未来几周内签署一个行政令，来限制美国企业对华关键经济领域的投资，包括半导体、人工智能、量子计算等。你对此有何评论？
我们注意到有关的报道，对此坚决反对。美方关于打着国家安全的幌子。
We noted the reports and firmly oppose this. The U.S. has politicized, instrumentalized, and weaponized national normal trade and technology issues in the pretext of national security. Sometimes it even seek selfish gains at the expense of its allies. Its real goal is to deprive China of its development rights, and it is pure economic coercion and scientific and tech bullying. It violates the rules of international market economy and fair competition. It undermines international trade order, disrupts and destabilize global industrial and supply chains. China will closely follow the developments and safeguard its rights and interests. Next question, please.
发言人你好，澎湃新闻提问。青冈国务委员兼外长今天上午在上海。
The paper, State Counselor and Foreign Minister Qin Gang attended the Lanting Forum on Chinese Modernization and the World this morning in Shanghai. Could you share more information? Why is this forum held in Shanghai? Today, the Lanting Forum on Chinese Modernization and the World opened in Shanghai. President Xi Jinping sent a congratulatory letter to the event. Chen Jining, a member of the CPC Central Committee Political Bureau and Secretary of the CPC Shanghai Municipal Committee, addressed the opening ceremony. State Councilor Qin Gang read President Xi's congratulatory letter and delivered a keynote speech. More than 300 well-known people, including China-based foreign diplomatic envoys and others, held in-depth exchange of views around the theme Chinese Modernization and the World at the Grand Halls in Shanghai. As President Xi pointed out in his congratulatory letter, realizing modernization is a relentless pursuit of the Chinese peoples and also the people of all countries. In pursuing modernization, a country needs to follow certain general patterns. More importantly, it should proceed from its own realities and develop its own features. After long and arduous quest, the Communist Party of China has led the entire Chinese nation in finding a development path that suits China's conditions. We are now building a strong country and advancing national rejuvenation on all fronts. China will provide new opportunities for global development through new accomplishments in Chinese modernization, lend new impetus to humanity's search for path toward modernization and a better social system, and advance the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. Chinese modernization is an important theoretical innovation of the 20th National Congress of the CPC. It codes the key to the success of the Chinese path and has received strong interest from the international community. Modernization of China means modernization for more people than the combined population of all developed countries in the world today. This is an unprecedented course with global significance, as State Councilor Qin Gang noted. As the biggest developing country, China always keeps in mind the greater good of the whole world. The Chinese path to modernization is not a one-flower show, still less for self-interest. It is a path towards development of China through which more positive energy will be added to global peace and new opportunities created for global development. While Chinese modernization is conceived in China, the opportunities it brings belong to the world. We welcome countries in the world to continue following, supporting, and participating in Chinese modernization. We are ready to work with all parties to promote diverse ways of modernization and create an even brighter future for our planet. You asked why this forum is held in Shanghai. Indeed, this is the first time the Lanting Forum is held outside Beijing, giving it a special significance. Shanghai has witnessed China's transformation over the past century and a profound change in its relations with the world, making it the ideal place for discussions on what the Chinese modernization means to the world. This forum in Shanghai is yet another action to serve high-quality development and a high-level opening up for regions in China through diplomacy. We believe this world-class forum will build a bridge of even closer interaction between Shanghai and the world. Next question, please.
谢谢发言人。NHK 记者提问。
NHK reports said a 72-hour ceasefire agreement has been reached in Sudan. Will China take any measures to protect the safety of its citizens?
中方高度关注苏丹局势。
China closely follow the developments of situation in Sudan. We call on all parties to ceasefire at an early date and avoid escalation. We would like to step up dialogue with all related parties and promote political settlement of the issue. We are also in close communication and coordination with related parties and make full efforts to protect the safety of Chinese institutions and individuals in Sudan. Next question, please.
谢谢发言人。新华社记者提问：今天是习近平主席提。
1 year ago today, President Xi Jinping put forward the Global Security Initiative, GSI. Since then, what measures has China taken to implement the initiative, and could you share some details on the outcomes? Facing an international security landscape of changes and turbulence, President Xi Jinping made the proposal of the GSI, calling on countries to adapt to the profoundly changing international landscape in the spirit of solidarity and address the complex and intertwined security challenges with a win-win mindset. And the initiative aims to inject more stability and certainty into the world, and to promote durable peace and development. This major initiative has been widely commended and received by the international community. More than 80 countries and a number of international organizations expressed appreciation and support. As the initiator of the GSI, China has taken real actions to implement it. We stay committed to the vision of common, comprehensive, cooperative, and sustainable security, have exchanges on security concepts and policies with others, and not long ago, we issued the Global Security Initiative's concept paper to elaborate on the concepts and the principles of the initiative and the priorities, platforms, and mechanisms of the cooperation. We actively engaged in mediation diplomacy for the political settlement of hotspot issues, including the Iranian nuclear issue, Korean Peninsula issue, Syrian issue, and the Palestinian question. We issued a position paper on the Ukraine crisis and the Afghan issue. And not long ago, Saudi Arabia and Iran had talks in Beijing and decided to resume their diplomatic ties. This is also a successful practice of the GSI and set a good example of how regional disputes and differences should be resolved through negotiation and consultation. We also actively advance international security dialogue and exchanges. We held the China Horn of Africa First Peace Conference, and we also held the second Middle East Security Forum, made a 4-point proposal for a new security architecture in Middle East. We promoted exchanges and cooperation on multiple platforms, including the SCO, CICA, and East Asia cooperation mechanisms to build consensus and synergy for tackling security challenges among the international community. We also actively participate in cooperation concerning non-traditional security, including COVID, counterterrorism, biology, cyberspace, food, and climate change. We put forward an initiative on international food security cooperation at the G20, and the launch of the Center for Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Cooperation between China and Pacific Island countries in February is another robust effort to help fellow developing countries address non-traditional security challenges. The GSI is an international public good and the guardian of tranquility and well-being for people around the world. China stands ready to work with others to act on the vision of a community of assured security for mankind, practice true multilateralism, address traditional and non-traditional security challenges, and advance the lofty cause of peace and development for humanity. Next question, please.
你好，日本共同社提问。
Kyoto News. Japanese Prime Minister made a ritual offering today to the Yasukuni Shrine. Do you have any comments? The Yasukuni Shrine is a spiritual tool and symbol of the Japanese militarists' war of aggression. It honors 14 convicted Class A war criminals who shoulder grave responsibilities for the war crimes. China firmly rejects Japan's negative moves concerning the Yasukuni Shrine and has lodged demarches to the Japanese side. We urge Japan to credibly honor the statement and pledge of facing up to and reflecting on the history of aggression, make a clean break with militarism, and earn the trust of its Asian neighbors and international community. Next question, please.
发言人好，总台央视记者提问。据报道，美国情报机构不仅窃听墨西哥贩毒集团，还可能。
The U.S. intelligence community has spied on the Mexican military as well as drug cartels. And do you have any comments? We noted relevant reports from PRISM to eavesdropping and espionage targeting Mexico. The U.S. has been indiscriminately stealing secret and conducting surveillance and eavesdropping on countries in the world, including its allies. This is no secret. The U.S. has always been a champion of hacking. Using cutting-edge technology, it spies on its own citizens and people around the world in every way possible to steal all kinds of data. It seriously undermines the sovereignty of other countries and proves that the U.S. is no doubt the leading power in terms of eavesdropping. If the U.S. truly wants to resolve the drug problem at home, it needs to respect facts, reflect on itself, correct its mistakes, and stop shifting blame. China firmly supports Mexico's effort to defend independence and oppose foreign interference. Next one, please.
Question from Bloomberg. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York this week revealed 2 criminal complaints against 44 defendants related to crimes by Chinese National Police. This included an elite Ministry of Public Security task force called the 912 Special Project Working Group that allegedly used troll farms and social media campaigns to harass Chinese citizens living abroad and also to spread pro-China narratives online. Does the Foreign Ministry have any comment about this group, the Special Project Working Group, and their alleged actions in the U.S.? Thank you.
前2天呢，我已经就此
The other day, I stated China's position on this, and you may refer to that. I want to stress that China always respects the sovereignty of other countries, and the labor of transnational separation cannot be put on China. And this is the U.S. manipulation of facts, and we firmly reject that. The U.S. has habitually used extraterritorial jurisdiction to interfere in other countries' internal affairs. This is the real transnational suppression. The U.S. should reflect on what it has done and correct its wrongdoing. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。环球时报记者提问：近期个别国
Global Times. Lately, several countries have claimed that they oppose changing the status quo with force in the Taiwan Strait. What's your comment? For some time, certain individual countries have advocated opposing the use of force to change the status quo in the Taiwan Strait. The notion does not reflect the facts and reality on the Taiwan question. It is a narrative trap designed with a malign purpose. What is the status quo in the Taiwan Strait? It is that both sides of the strait belong to one and the same China. Taiwan is part of China's territory. China's sovereignty and territorial integrity have never been divided. And who is trying to change this status quo? Certainly not the mainland, but the Taiwan independence separatists who have been promoting incremental independence, pushing for de-Sinicization, and seeking to create the false impression of 2 Chinas or 1 China, 1 Taiwan, and the external forces who have been meddling in the Taiwan question by fudging and hollowing out the 1 China principle, selling arms to Taiwan, and peddling the narrative of Ukraine today, Taiwan tomorrow. They are the ones responsible for disrupting the status quo across the Taiwan Strait. Taiwan independence and cross-strait peace and stability are as irreconcilable as fire and water. To keep the Taiwan Strait peaceful and stable, it is essential to unequivocally uphold the One China principle, oppose Taiwan independence and foreign interference. Those who talk about peace in the Taiwan Strait but refuse to oppose Taiwan independence are in effect conniving at and supporting separatist activities, which is bound to have a serious impact on cross-strait peace and stability. China firmly opposes it. We will work together with the rest of the world to uphold the One China principle, defend our sovereignty and territorial integrity, forestall any attempt to use the Taiwan question to contain China, and work for true peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. Next question, please.
还有其他的问题吗？
Anything else? That's all for today. Have a nice weekend.